We get into legal matters right here on the Morning Galaxy on Star FM. It is a segment where we give practical advice on legal issues that can affect us in our everyday lives. And we have the one, the only Advocate Nyari Maposa live in studio. How was your weekend?
The weekend was so awesome. Weekend, I was saying to somebody in the lift, weekend, weekend, but the problem here, weekend, I eat semari. Weekend, no pay mari.
Yeah.
So my pizza weekend kachenda kubasa.
Kunoshanda. Magainda kusabata
tatine my first years eku HIT eku Harare Institute of Technology. There was a camp out and we're telling them about how to navigate life when you come to college.
Oh, that's good.
Fun.
Oh, great.
And Breeze was singing, of course. It was amazing.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Happy that it was a good weekend for you. So, criminal law. That is what we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks, right?
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe just a quick recap and then we continue.
Okay. Well, last week was a recap of the previous week. So we're really just talking about the setup of the court. Kuna magistrate, kuna complainant, akamirwa na public prosecutor, and anokwanisa kushiwandira ogwita rake rinonzi legal brief, or watching brief rather, who can also be observing tichichiri kuitinga kwa mweshe tunjiri kufamba mushe. Then we have the accused, wachona ari kupomerwa Mosha, who is there to defend himself or herself, right? And then I think we spoke a little on bail, but we said we're going to actually do bail riega because aturma one, and just how remand works. And you're right, kanawasungwa, because kanawasungwa shinakunzwa tobatwa ne Mosha. Shingora you're a suspect, okay? And so questions you are accused, kwete kuti you are a convict, okay? So the accused. So I can just quickly go, and as I just jotted down some nuggets which people might be interested in knowing about the criminal processes. The first one, my local courts, my community courts, ana sabuku, ana sadunu, ana ishe, right? Those ones, they don't have power to deal with criminal cases. Sakamsendisa nyaya dzenyu dzecriminal dzatechitaura panapa makuendesa kupi kunana sabhuku, they don't have the jurisdiction or the authority to deal with those cases. You can't do that. Uko ndekwa munoenda muchindoti mombe yake yatsika munda mangu, mbudzi dzake dzadya chichinyi, kana kuti ameno chinenge chichitika ku customary law.
Kana kuti mukadzi wake
chakati oripiswa or whatever it is. Saka ngatiziyo kuti kana dziri nyaya dzecrime dzatotaura isu dzatotaura pano, and we're going to be getting into individual crimes, to say okay, kana chiti theft chinoreveka, chiti rape chinoreveka, chiti treason chinoreveka, okay? So those ones tunoendesa kuma magistrates courts or high court. So the high court inodila nama serious matters. So most cases, this is a criminal dzinoenda ku magistrates court. Okay, they dealt with at the magistrates court, but the really serious cases adzitangire ku magistrates court. Dzinotangira kupi? Ku high court. And those cases are like cases like murder. Okay, so kanya murder haitangiri ku magistrates court. Those are like cases like those serious frauds. Ekuti maybe ano involve millions of dollars, billions of dollars, right? Those ones antangira ku high court. Noda kwelevo yachona. Oh, nyaya dze treason. Zekuti pane vanhu who want to topple the government, kana wada kushandura hurumende nechisimba. Those cases idzodzo dzinotangira kupi? Dzinotangira ku high court, okay? I'm on a roll because of our time. Then only the high court can give the death penalty. Okay? Saka hazi mutongi wega wake, like my magistrate said, our powerful as they are, they don't have jurisdiction to impose the death penalty. And death penalty inopirwa munhu generally tingati someone aita murder, okay? You can get a death penalty because of murder, okay? Depending kuti wahambora munhu wachona say weekend panwa my heinous crimes tinoti are shocking, ekuti munhu yuko amheno mwe yanga yatomusimudza yanga yatomubata, and that person anogona kuiswa pa death penalty. People who are over 70 years, they will not get a death sentence, atina kuti chimirirai kuti mugoita 70 kuti muchitondopara mosha manje muchizati hakuna death sentence, right? But we can also understand nenyaya age, right? And then a person who committed the crime when they were below 18, like maybe azotongwa ane 21 years and stuff. But if the crime was committed when they were below 18 years,
the legal age,
achona ye majority, handitika abvumidzwa kuti apiwe a death sentence, right? So anybody 18 years and above, we now assume you have capacity to commit a crime, to understand the full impact of the decisions you're making and the actions that you're taking.
All right.
Okay, but if you were below, chirongotasa kuti anga achiri mwana mudiki, anga sitanatsonzwisisa, maybe anga atongonyengerwawo or something of the sort, right? And then I'll move on to say, so kuma magistrates courts tine the ordinary magistrate, kachiti ordinary hatisi kuvarerutsa, tirongoti that's the entry level of being a magistrate. We've got provincial magistrates, regional magistrates. My regional magistrates who zvinoenderana neseniority. Okay, those are the ones who are allowed to impose maybe heavier sentences, than the other magistrates. Mama magistrates vanodhila nenyaya idzodzidzi dze-assault, dze-DV, domestic violence, vanodhila dziri nani dzacho kana kuti my-entry level cases. But mukazonzi nyaya dzakuenda sei ku-court 14 kana dzakuenda kupi, munotoziva kuti idzakuenda ku-regional court, inyaya dzakatosimba, especially I think takambotaura nyaya yekuti ma-mining claims, vanhu vabirwa ma-millions of dollars, nama-scammers, that kind of thing. You'll see kuti it will start, especially anonzi ma-commercial crimes, so we have the commercial crimes court, which inotori ku-criminal court, yevanhu vanenge vanoda kunyanya kundotsotsa big amounts of money, big scammers, vantoregister makampani, voto enter into proper agreements, votosainirana, dzimwe nguva vachibatanidzirawo matsotsi ari muma-government offices, so those ones you'll see kuti anodhilwa nawo achitangira ku-regional magistrates court.
And the cases of value $1 to 10,000 is civil court, matters of 10,000 and above start at high court.
Okay, vari kubvira civil ere vanhu vatenzi kana kuti criminal? Tripa criminal. Okay, so I think civil takambomanya nayo, but thank you so much, that's useful information. Anditi vari kuteererawo zvatiri kuudzwa. I'm very happy kuti we've got lawyers who actually listen in.
Yes,
who will be like, I remember pano makazomboya akati advocate muri kutaura remimi kuti gupuro vakadzi avape gupuro, because I know we said that, you know what, apasati pane mutemo yoyo, in terms of, and I actually researched kuti mukadzi utano pamurume gupuro, you see, ndikati chambondoshichaga, remember weekend chambondoshichaga, because just because zviri kuitwa azvirevo kuti ndo mutemo wacho. Just for those who are listening, just because it's now in common practice and maybe something being discussed doesn't mean kuti patone mutemo unonzi uyo uri kunzi. So I'm happy, guys, for the feedback. It's awesome, okay? And so
as we continue, I'm just going to take a question here. Anzi, I have someone who was sentenced, but I think the charge was unfair. Is there something we can do legally, or we have to wait until he is out? Thanks in advance for your help.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's what we were talking about the other time. I think we can recap that. Kuti, if you're not happy with the conviction, you're not happy, kana chiri conviction kuti munhu atonzi guilty, and it is mengwa munhu anonzi guilty ka obvanzi community service yoto nongoti okay, maybe again kunoita community service yacho. But when you carry a guilty verdict or a guilty conviction on your CV, in your life, okay, so let's understand that. So it's not just the sentence which can be unfair, it can be the conviction itself, where somebody's like inanguka andisikuda kuti ndinzi ndakambopara mosha. Why? Because maybe there's a board appointment yoda kuitirwa. And what's the first thing they do? My fingerprints. Why my fingerprints? Kuti vagorana system. Kuti, are you a person akambo convicted of a crime? Was it a crime involving dishonesty? Maybe it was just another kind of crime. But so just having a conviction on your case is not a good thing. Saka you are allowed kuti tikatangira pa conviction. Teta tomenda ku sentence. Because sentence ndo mtongo wacho. Kunzi conviction ndo kunzi you are guilty. So if you want to have your guilty verdict overturned, kana kuti even the sentence mutongo umwe munhu anogona kutaura kuti inini mutongo wandapiwa kausikuwirirana yes ndobvuma mhosva but ndazopiwa like the sentence which goes beyond the crime that I committed. Okay, you are allowed both. You can go against the conviction, you can go against the conviction and sentence, you can go against the sentence alone. And you are allowed from the magistrate's court to appeal to the high court. Okay, you are very much allowed. And if you think it is a matter that is trampling on your criminal rights, you are allowed to go straight to the criminal court. The criminal court is open to everybody, from the magistrate's court to the high court to the Supreme Court. You can go to the criminal court. And we know the criminal court is, I can't say the highest court, but it's a court that deals with the constitution. Anything chiri constitutional, rights and everything, you have direct access to the constitutional court. Okay, so you can appeal whomever asked. You are very welcome. That's why it's very good that we have the appeal system, because you don't go to a decision yangu in some magistrate, it's not the final thing. And then the decision ya judge is not the final thing either. And then we can go to the Supreme Court. You see what I mean? It means kuti nyaya yako inogona unatsoshika pakuti yaota wanatokwana waguta wafara. Yeah. Okay. So again, just looking at our time, today I just said I'm giving you guys nuggets, okay? So I need to talk about the burden of proof, because I know I think some time back, Tichiti, you are innocent until you're proven guilty, okay?
Yeah.
So when we say that, Kanachiti weweka, mosha unozonzi une mosha kana wabatwa ne mosha. Awunzi une mosha when you're being suspected of having committed a crime. But unogona kutosungwa, wotomboenda kuremand, wotoenda kukoti, wotochuchiswa, everything zvotoitwa. Also, but what I actually munhu tasinatsa kuongorera nyaya iyi, this person is not guilty, okay? And the person who has the burden of proof, anonzi ndiane mutoro wekuprova kuti one mhosva iwewe, is the prosecutor, is the state. It's not you who has the burden to prove kuti I am innocent. So we don't have the whole guilty until proven innocent, right? Usually that happens in those war zones and stuff like that. Right? So please note, you are innocent until you're proven guilty, and so you must still be held as a citizen. You're not allowed. That's not allowed. Mapurisa cannot just call you anything. You know what I mean? Because remember, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, and there are proper channels of discovering the guilt or innocence of a person, right? And while I'm there, and I just use that loosely, while I'm there, at court, no one says, oh no, was he found guilty or innocent? At certain innocence. Why? Because when the court is looking at a case, vanotarisa evidence which has been brought to it, right? Always knowing kuti pane zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti kana vanhu vakapinda mukoti pane vanonyepa, pane vanotya, pane vasingatauri zvanofanira kutaura, pane imwe evidence isina kuwanikwa. That's why mapurisa sometimes nyaya dzichitora long vachiferefeta, they're trying to gather as much evidence as they can to assist the court to make a proper decision. Saka, because of that, we can never say a person is innocent, right? All we can say is they are not guilty. Okay? Nekuti ne evidence yauya ishi. Maybe kune imwe hatiziye, right? But the evidence ya
kana paitwa mutongo and they are acquitted, we can't.
No, when they are acquitted, they are acquitted.
Okay.
That's why it's the duty of the state, of the prosecutor, kuti musaunza nyaya kwandiri magistrate ndokumbirawo please nyaya yenyu isati yadini yakwana docket yenyu isati rasara.
Oh, I see.
And that's why people then will complain kuti nyaya yatora long munhu angorimo. Is that risky ripo kuti kana mukapinza nyaya isati yakwana panyaya evidence, that person anogona kutonzi aende andizvonzi nyaya yenyu yaraswa otoenda, but iye mhosva muchina zviziva kuti mhosva akadini akaipara. And this is my edition, and sandamboshona hangu pamtemo, but this is just my edition. I think we can do, even talking socially, I think that it is better kuti munhu ane mhosva aende hake than kuti asina mhosva avharirwe. I mean, if you were to balance it, I don't know what you think. What do you think is the worst crime against humanity, a person who is guilty and they walk free, or a person who's innocent ondopika jeri? Because there's so many people vakadaro. Just once akazobuda kana kuti pane munhu anga akuposta achitafuta handiti nhingi ndiye akasungwa ndini ndakazviita. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we need to abide, and the courts really abide strictly with innocent until proven guilty. You know, kana mukasaunza enough evidence against a person nomunenera munhu ngaasavharirwa. You know, it's your duty, mimi se state, kuti mundotsvaga umboo. Kana musati maana umboo, you can send a person back home moti tichiri kumbotsvaga tichazokushedza kana zvinhu zvedu zvakwana. Zvikasakwanawo ndiyoyo. You know, so it's that is absolutely
anziko nai munhu akakubira ukukutsotsa mari yakawanda, let's say 5 million osungwa, mutemo unoti chiku munhu abirwa anozongoruza here mari yeso, mutemo unototi chero akasungwa but ma-assets ake aripo those millions. What is the situation?
Okay, so in that instance, remember criminal law and a criminal court, they are not debt collectors. Vantage debt collection civil. So you are allowed kuti munhu achitosungwa akasungwa ari uko achikumise kuti uende kumagistrates court civil kana high court ondoita ma parallel proceedings where you also are actually claiming. You know, I know there was a case where munhu anga achitosungwa uko nobva tatoissue high court summons dzeku high court nobva dzatobuda fast nobva kwatobuda warrant of execution. Munhu akamirira kutongwa uko because ari kutongerwa kuva a criminal, asi kutongerwa kuti dzosera munhu mari yake. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a different inquiry altogether. Saka nobva yatoita dzimba tikatondotengesa iye arimo mujeri akamirira kutongwa ende achatongwa futi ikoko. You know, but uku kusifu tatoita. However, sometimes the court will say, look, tinokupa sentence here 10 years, but tinosuspenda 5 years on condition of restitution. Ukadzosera munhu mari dzake anditeka togona kureducera mutengo, but that is not their primary job. Okay, so don't expect the criminal court to act like a debt collector. Okay, looks like we've just got 1 more minute. Okay, so but actually, burden of proof, I thought you guys might want to know. We don't have burden of proof kuti munhu anofanira kunzi guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know, I know that's usually like on TV or beyond an absolute degree of certainty. Akuna zvakadaro because hapana munhu anofamba namakamera anenge achimutarisa achitora achitapa zvese zvaari kuita. You know, so the court can never be absolutely sure, but any reasonable court, you know, and I really want to believe that my court said they are very reasonable and they're very experienced. Saka any reasonable court ikawanawo evidence iripo kuti onaiwo chero murimiwo chero ma voice note awa voice rake chero apa medical report iri kutaridza izvi kana kuti DNA yake yakawanikwa iripo, at least that's beyond, you know, a reasonable doubt. And then people are convicted on evidence that has been given beyond a reasonable doubt, not shadow of a doubt. Hakuna takatozvibata nemoyo wese. No one can actually do that. Okay, maybe the last thing that I can say, I think somebody asked kuti okay topfeka sei kukota pfekaiwo zviri decent vedwe ngatiziye mabasa naika kukota akusiko kundotaridza kuti wakavakwa zvakanaka kana kuti chichinyi. That's not the point. Kukoti it's serious business. You know, so hanzi munopfeka zviri decent vanogona kutonzi ndai mutopfeka zvimwe. You know, even kune mamwe ministerial offices ukaendaona mashoulders mapendekete akabuda vanotokuchekera mazambia namama usati wandopinda kuti undoona vakuru. You understand?
Yes.
So let's just be decent about going to court. It's a very respectable place. And kana ukasaenda kukoti wewe uri accused, ukasaenda kukoti uri witness, kana kuti even kana uri witness even uri complainant uri witness, remember unogona kupiwa inonzi warrant of arrest. But kana ukapiwa warrant of arrest kurumidza kuwana the next mukana wanawo kuenda kucourt so that you can apply for that warrant to be cancelled.
Thank you so much, Advovo, for those who want to reach you.
Okay, 0771 111 099 771 111 099. Advocate Nyari Maposa on all my social media handles.